For a very long time in human history, we held a simple but powerful idea. We believed the mind and the brain were two completely separate things. The brain was seen as a physical organ, a part of the body that pumped blood and sent signals, much like the heart or lungs. The mind, however, was thought to be something else entirely. It was considered the home of our thoughts, our feelings, and our very soul. This idea, often called dualism, suggested that what happened in our minds was not directly connected to the physical matter inside our skulls. It was a belief that shaped how we saw mental struggles for centuries. This separation created a deep divide in how we treated problems of the mind. If someone had a broken bone, they would see a doctor who understood the body. But if someone was struggling with deep sadness or overwhelming anxiety, it was often seen as a problem of the spirit or character, not a medical issue. These struggles were frequently misunderstood and stigmatized, viewed as a personal failing rather than a health condition. The brain was the domain of physicians, but the mind belonged to philosophers and priests. This viewpoint made it difficult to develop effective, compassionate care for those with mental health challenges because the root of their suffering was not seen as biological. This historical perspective had profound consequences. Without a connection to the physical brain, mental illness was often explained by non-scientific causes. People looked for answers in spiritual weakness, divine punishment, or imbalances of abstract forces. This led to treatments that were sometimes unhelpful and, in many cases, harmful. The focus was on correcting a moral or spiritual flaw, rather than addressing a complex health problem. This brain-mind dichotomy, this invisible wall between our inner world and our physical selves, was a significant barrier to understanding and progress. It took centuries of curiosity and scientific discovery to begin to tear it down. The journey to change this perception was a slow and challenging one. It required a fundamental shift in how we viewed ourselves. The idea that our deepest emotions and most complex thoughts could be linked to the biological workings of an organ was revolutionary. It challenged long-held beliefs about what it means to be human. However, pioneering thinkers and early scientists started to notice connections. They observed how head injuries could change a person's personality, or how certain illnesses could affect someone's mood. These early clues were the first steps towards bridging the gap between the mind and the brain, setting the stage for a new era of understanding. The shift away from seeing the mind and brain as separate entities did not happen overnight. It was a gradual process, built upon the careful observations of doctors and scientists throughout the 19th and 20th centuries. One of the most important steps was the work of neurologists like Paul Broca. He famously discovered that damage to a specific area of the brain could result in a person losing their ability to speak. This was powerful evidence. It showed that a complex mental function like language was directly tied to a physical part of the brain. This discovery was a cornerstone in building the bridge between the mind and the physical body. As science progressed, so did our tools for looking at the brain. The invention of brain imaging technologies like CT scans and later MRI scans was a game changer. For the first time, we could see inside the living brain without surgery. We could observe its structure and eventually its activity. Scientists could see how different parts of the brain lit up when a person felt an emotion, solved a problem, or remembered a memory. This visual evidence made the connection undeniable. The abstract world of the mind was being mapped onto the physical landscape of the brain, transforming psychiatry into a more scientific discipline. The development of psychiatric medications also played a huge role in this transformation. When scientists discovered that chemicals called neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine influenced mood and behavior, it offered a new way to help people. Medications designed to adjust the levels of these chemicals showed that it was possible to change a person's mental state by changing their brain chemistry. This reinforced the idea that mental health conditions were rooted in biological processes. The success of these treatments helped to reduce stigma and frame mental illness as a medical condition that could be treated just like any other illness in the body. This growing body of evidence created a new, integrated view. The mind was no longer seen as a mysterious ghost in the machine, but as a product of the brain's incredible complexity. We began to understand that mental and neural processes were deeply interdependent. Psychological experiences like stress or trauma could physically change the brain's structure and function. Conversely, changes in the brain's biology could lead to shifts in our thoughts and feelings. This bidirectional relationship became the new foundation for modern psychiatry, finally dissolving the old artificial barrier between mind and brain. Today, on July 23, 2025, psychiatry stands on a foundation of robust science, using an impressive array of modern tools to understand and treat mental health. We have moved far beyond simple theories. The field now views mental disorders as complex conditions that involve disruptions at many different levels. This includes our genetics, the way our genes are expressed, epigenetics, our immune system, and the intricate neural circuits that connect different parts of the brain. This systems-level approach allows for a much more detailed and accurate picture of what is happening when someone experiences a mental health challenge. One of the most exciting new frontiers is the link between the immune system and mental health. A landmark study in 2025 provided strong evidence that mental health is not just confined to the brain. Researchers identified specific immune-related proteins that can play a causal role in conditions like depression and anxiety. This groundbreaking discovery suggests that inflammation in the body can directly contribute to mental illness. This helps explain why things like diet, sleep, and stress, which all affect our immune system, are so crucial for our mental well-being. It opens up entirely new avenues for treatment, moving beyond the brain to care for the whole person. Advanced diagnostic and therapeutic tools are also transforming patient care. Technologies like deep brain stimulation, or DBS, are offering hope for people with severe depression or OCD that has not responded to other treatments. Neuroimaging biomarkers are helping doctors predict which treatments might work best for an individual, paving the way for more personalized medicine. We are also developing new medications, such as esketamine, for treatment-resistant depression. These tools are the result of decades of research and demonstrate how a scientific approach is leading to real, practical solutions that can change people's lives for the better. However, the journey has not been simple, and we still face challenges. The brain is the most complex organ in the body, and our knowledge of its functions is still limited. Understanding the intricate dance between our genes, our environment, and our brain is a monumental task. But by integrating insights from immunology, genetics, and neurology, psychiatry is continuously evolving. We are learning that the brain does not work in isolation. It is in constant communication with the rest of the body. This integrated view, which sees the mind, brain, and body as one interconnected system, is the future of mental health care. As our scientific understanding has grown more sophisticated, we have come to a fascinating realization. The modern holistic model of mental health, which emphasizes the deep connection between the brain, body, and our experiences, aligns beautifully with wisdom from ancient traditions. For thousands of years, practices like mindfulness, meditation, and yoga have been built on the principle that the mind and body are one. These traditions taught that calming the mind could heal the body, and caring for the body could soothe the mind. Today, we are proving this ancient wisdom with modern science. This blend of old and new is creating a more powerful and compassionate approach to mental well-being. Modern psychiatry still uses evidence-based scientific methods like medication and brain stimulation when they are needed, but it also increasingly incorporates practices that have been around for centuries. Psychotherapy, or talk therapy, is a cornerstone of treatment, helping people understand their thoughts and rewire their brain's responses. We also now recognize the profound impact of lifestyle factors like nutrition, exercise, and social connection, all of which were central to older community-based models of health. The path forward involves using all the tools at our disposal, both ancient and modern. For example, we now have scientific evidence showing that mindfulness meditation can physically change the brain, strengthening circuits associated with focus and emotional regulation. We understand how a healthy diet rich in certain nutrients can support brain function and reduce inflammation, which we now know is linked to depression. By combining a prescription for medication with a recommendation for daily walks in nature or a regular meditation practice, we are treating the whole person, not just a set of symptoms. In the end, this unified approach offers the greatest hope. It acknowledges the biological reality of mental illness, while also honoring the importance of our inner lives, our relationships, and our environment. It empowers people to take an active role in their own healing journey. By drawing on the best of modern science and the timeless wisdom of the past, we can face mental health challenges with greater understanding and resilience. This integrated path helps us not only to overcome problems, but also to grow stronger, fostering a deeper connection between our minds, our brains, and our bodies. As the field of psychiatry evolved, another powerful force began to shape its direction: psychology. In the early 20th century, Sigmund Freud introduced psychoanalysis, a groundbreaking theory that suggested our unconscious mind and early childhood experiences deeply influence our mental health. Freud's ideas sparked a revolution, inspiring a generation of thinkers known as the Neo-Freudians, including Carl Jung, Alfred Adler, and Karen Horney. They expanded on Freud's theories, exploring the importance of social relationships, culture, and personal growth. Around the same time, behaviorists like John B. Watson and B.F. Skinner challenged the focus on the unconscious mind. Instead, they emphasized observable behavior and the ways it could be shaped by learning and environment. Their work led to practical therapies that focused on changing harmful patterns through conditioning and reinforcement. These psychological approaches brought a new dimension to psychiatry, one that looked beyond the brain's biology to include the mind's inner workings and outward behaviors. Over time, psychotherapy became a key part of psychiatric care, offering patients tools to understand themselves, change their habits, and heal from trauma. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, emerged as a powerful blend of cognitive and behavioral theories, and today is widely used to treat depression, anxiety, and many other conditions. The integration of psychological therapies into psychiatric practice marked a major shift. No longer was treatment limited to medications and physical interventions. Now talking, listening, and understanding became essential parts of healing. This psychological revolution helped transform psychiatry into a holistic science, one that recognizes both the complexity of the brain and the rich dynamic world of the human mind.